someone here really do it for you.
Baby, the key is yours. Yeah, baby, I'm all over you. If it come down to that, it's yours. Let me show you how to that is yours. Don't let her know it's yours. That floor is 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 yours.
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard and the podcast crew.
What's up, everybody? Welcome 2026. Wow, we made it. Look at us. We did it. There were times when you probably thought you weren't going to make it, but look at God. You were here for another year. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to the Floor Is Yours podcast. I am Gregory McKinney, your life and relationship coach, and I am with my brother from another mother, Mr. Gerard Rare. Say what's up to the people. Flex, the producer.
Great people. And hello to you, man. Happy 2026 to you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is going to be a great year. We're going to make it a great year.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Got no choice but to make it a great year. If you're like many people, you probably have some leftover goals, some leftover resolutions that you didn't quite hit. But hey, we are here in the new year, and we're going to talk about exactly how to make this year a priority, how to make this year count. And I think this is a great way to start the year by getting our priorities set. So tonight we're going to be talking about what matters most. We're going to be what matters most. That's right.
Your artist rich, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's showing. The country boy in me is coming out. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what matters most and how to set priorities and how to set the targets that we need to be and should be hitting this year so that this year counts. We want to make sure that this year counts. We want to make this year so good that all the years before are jealous, wishing they were 2026. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And so interesting enough about this show is Gerard, I don't know if you listeners know this or not, is also former military. And so being part of the military, he has a lot of great insight on leadership and execution. And so today he just kind of hit me to some information about one of the standards or protocols in the military. And I thought it was just really, really good. He brought it to my attention and we said, we got to talk about this. So Gerard, as we dive into what matters most tonight and prioritizations, tell us a little bit about that example that you shared about the military.
Yeah. So in all the branches of service, we go to the range, to fire our weapons. And part of that, when we're qualifying, there are targets at different distances, if you will. The 50 meters, there's another one at 150 meters, 200, 250, and all the way to 300 meters. Well, the thing is, the idea is the one that's at 50 meters, it pops up and it's only up for a few seconds. But if you think about it, 50 meters is closest to you. So when you think about if that target is an enemy, which one of those targets can get to you the quickest? The one at 50 meters or the one at 300 meters? Obviously, it's the 50 meters, right? So it's just understanding, like, when we're looking at our challenges, our concerns, like, what's your 50-meter target? What's most urgent to you, and understanding what that is. Now, with that being said, Gregory, we don't overlook or disregard the other targets. Again, the word is prioritized. So we're understanding that they all need to be addressed. They all need some attention, but we're looking at what is our 50-meter target, the one that's most urgent, whether it's people, whether it's our health, whether it's our finances, whether it's our family and friends, identifying those 50-meter targets so that we can address them is most urgent. And one of the things, real quick before I hand it back to you, I hear some couples talk about this a lot when they say, that particularly a woman to say that she's supposed to be first now that she's in a relationship, now that she's married. And often that gives the idea that the woman and nobody else outside of that, right? But that's not necessarily the case. When you look at it in the sense of prioritizing, you don't stop being a son. You don't stop being a father to your children. You don't stop being a sibling, to your brothers and sisters. You don't stop being a co-worker and a community remember, now you prioritize those things. So it's not like, you get married and it's only her. So that's what we want to talk about. What's your 50-meter target? And then how do you address those things and still make sure you engage those other targets as well? Hope that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. I think what it shows us is that there is a hierarchy or a pecking order to what we should be giving our attention to. And
Yeah.
so we have to evaluate what needs our attention the most as we start this new year. And I like what you said, because we don't ignore the long range goals. Everybody should have a destination. You should be getting somewhere. But before you get there, you're going to have to take the steps to get there. So what is your first step, right? What matters most right here, right now? And you gave some great examples about your family, your health, your finances. All those things are urgent things. And so what we want to challenge the audience tonight is to ask themselves, what matters most now? What's the thing that matters most now? And a couple of ways you can do that. You have to ask yourself, what targets have you been avoiding? And if we're honest with ourselves, we all have been avoiding something. Because if you just look around your house, have you been cleaning? Have you been eating right? Have you been exercising? What are those things that matters most? And what are those things that you've been avoiding? Because if you face those things now, what they're going to relieve the most stress for you.
Yeah. And just to add in there too, those things. Sometimes those things are in our blind spots. The analogy when I'm driving in the vehicle and you get ready to switch lanes, that thing in the part of the mirror where you can't see to your left because of the blind spot. It may be something in your blind spot. So in those instances, I think it's incumbent on us to have trusted people around us that can tell us, like, hey, you're overlooking this little minor detail right there that's costing you. So even when you're determining what you need to place your priority on or focus on, something could be potentially in your blind spot.
But nobody likes to hear that, though.
No.
Nobody likes to hear you're slipping or you're fumbling the bag over here. You're not living up to your potential here. And so if we're going to prioritize this year and first figure out what is our 50-yard target goal or 50 feet target goal, we have to ask ourselves, what's making us uncomfortable? What's making us uncomfortable? What's that thing that you are constantly avoiding that you don't want to deal with? What's the thing that keeps sweeping under the rug? And so if we're going to make it count, we got to face the hard thing. And I like what you said, you got to have people around you, but then you got to be humble enough to hear people when they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you have people around you and saying, hey, I don't like what you're doing here, but you could be doing better. And we turn up our nose at them because they just hating on us.
Yeah.
They don't want to see us. They don't want to see us win. They don't want to see us happy. They're trying to steal our joy. Or,
that's a good point, man. And a lot of it could be because this world, man, we're such a critical society now. It's almost like people wake up looking like, what can I critique about somebody, right? And if you got those people around you, sometimes hearing the right critique from someone that genuinely cares for you, like, you cannot be ready to receive it because it all sounds like noise, right? And so that's the other thing, when we talked about inventorying our life, the people that surround us. And I think you also, and correct me if you don't agree with this, I think we got to give those type of people that permission. Set that expectation from those people that you trust the most. Like, hey, Gregory, man, if you see me not doing right, man, pull my coattail. Let me know. Right? And because when you make yourself overly concerned with too many people, I think it makes you subject to too many different opinions, and that can be counterproductive.
Yeah, 100%. And that group should be small, right?
Yeah.
And that group should be people that over an extended period of time have shown themselves to be people of integrity. Not perfect people, but just people of integrity that, hey, once you present an issue, they'll deal with it. They'll say, look, I'm sorry. This is what I can do. This is how I can handle it. How can I make it better? Somebody that doesn't run. But everybody needs someone that can pull their coattails. So I have 3 people in my life right now that literally, with no exaggeration, if they say, Gregory, shut up and listen, I'm going to shut up and listen.
The raw and the real.
Right. Because I know that these 3 people, if it has to get to that point, then there's something serious. And I know they're only doing that because they love me. If they have to go, yo, G, sit down, shut up, because you fumbling. I need to listen.
Yeah.
And everybody needs that. But I think we get so self-centered that we don't want to listen to what other people say. And if we're going to succeed this year, you can't win alone. Nobody has ever won alone. You have to have a team around you. Now, people come in different seasons. Maybe someone there help you get started. Maybe someone's there for the middle. Maybe someone's helping you cross the finish line. Very, 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 very rarely do you have someone that's from the start to the finish.
Yeah,
Those people
that's
are
good.
rare,
That's good. And just
right?
a real quick shout out to our people that's out there and watching us. We got some of my faithfuls on here. We got Miss Dorkisa. Happy New Year to you. Appreciate you tuning in. And my brother from another mother, I call him Triple OG, Triple OG Ron. He's watching to us on YouTube. So appreciate everybody that's tuning in. And you know the name of the game. If you got a comment, question, input, put it in the comments. We're gonna make sure we get to them. So just wanted to make sure that we shout out our followers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely, we can do without a pause. I love the comments. That's my favorite part of the show, actually. This is also the real here. You don't have too many problems. You just don't have. You just don't know what comes first. And I think a lot of people use the excuse, "Oh, I got these kids. I got to go to work. I got to do the laundry. I got to do." You always have all these excuses, but you don't have any action. The truth is, you don't have that many problems. You just don't know what comes first. Just find that one thing. If it's getting your credit up, just focus on your credit for the first 6 weeks of a year. Let everything else go by the wayside if you have to. Forget the laundry, forget the dishes for 6 weeks, and get you a plan in order to fix your credit. If it's your weight, take the first 6 weeks and just get you a plan in order. You don't have that many problems. You just haven't identified what needs to come first and haven't taken the time to develop a system.
That's
And
good.
because right, because you can't do it all at one time, right? Now, in the course of a year, yes, you can lose 20 pounds. Yes, you can repair your credit. Yes, you can write a book or whatever it may be. But you have to have some dedicated time to these specific goals. And so for each goal that you have, set aside 6 weeks and say, you know what? I want to do 10 things this year. I want to do 10 great things this year. But give each of those 10 things 6 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. Just say, hey, here's my dedicated time. There's 12 months in a year. Give each of those goals at least 1 month. Give yourself 12 goals, give each of those goals 1 month. And you can have a system in place that you can almost go on autopilot. This is what I need to do. This is the day I do it. This is the time I do it.
That's good. And
That's
I like that. I like that. And you know, the old saying is that we can walk and chew bubble gum, but I think you got to be conscious of what it is you're trying to accomplish. And if it's something that needs your total attention, you're not going to give it the service that it deserves or the attention that it deserves if you're distracted and putting attention in other areas, even if those areas need to be addressed, right? So you got to
right.
allot the proper time. So you know that prioritizing thing again, I think is most important. So I know you got some tips on how to prioritize. I didn't talk to you before this, but I hope I ain't put you on the spot. But I know you usually come with some good. So
I do. I'm gonna save them to last though. I'm gonna save them to
okay,
last. Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I wanted to talk about how sometimes we get so destination distracted also. So if your
Mm,
goal for this year is to lose 50 pounds, what happens is you make the 50 pounds the goal instead of the process the goal. If you're going to accomplish anything, you have to fall in love with the process. Because here's the truth, is that God does care about your goals, but he cares about you becoming the person that can accomplish the goals more than giving you the goal. Right. So here's the deal. You can get the trophy. It doesn't take anything for God. God has a billion ways to bless you. All you need is one. God is more concerned about your growth than he is your happiness. And so if you tell God, hey, God, I want to write a great novel, he's going to say, great, I'm here for you. I want to support you. But he's not going to write it for you. He's going to say, what I'm going to do is give you opportunities to meet people that have written books. I'm going to make workshops to come in front of you. I'm going to give you opportunities to learn to become the person that can write a book, but I'm not going to write the book for you. It's like that old saying that if you ask God for a table, he doesn't give you a table, he gives you a tree.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
God does, right? If you ask God for a cake, he doesn't give you a cake. He gives you flour, he gives you eggs, he gives you milk. Because God wants you to become the person that can acquire the goal, that can achieve the goal, versus him just giving you the end result. And so
Yeah.
a lot of times we get distracted with saying, well, if I had the money or if I had the time. No, you're too goal focused. You're not process focused. The way to make this your camp, to find your priorities, is you have to become process focused. not
Yeah.
goal focused.
Yeah, I like that. I think an important part of that, as far as understanding, is if I just get to the goal, like just say, just put some money, I get $1 million, but I don't know
Yeah,
how to manage it. I don't understand the psychology of money. Well, when I get that, I'm gonna fumble it, right? I'm not gonna do right.
absolutely.
But if I'm working up and learning money management on the way there, the psychology of money, how not just to make it, but also how to keep it, how to make it grow. Sometimes you get people, some of the athletes, right? They get these contracts, first
Right.
contract, and they try to get these big dollar houses, and it drains them, and they forget, like, hey, I got to maintain and maintenance and upkeep this house right here. So I think in the process, you learn about all that stuff right there. So it's important not just to look at the goal or be goal oriented, as you said, but also be process oriented as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And busyness doesn't equal progress. A lot of
Break
people are
that
like,
down.
well, a lot of people say, well, hey, I'm working on this goal, but I got to go watch this seminar, or I got to take this class, or I'm running over here to have this meeting with these people. You're just busy, but you're not making progress. You're just talking a lot of talk. You're doing a lot of movement, but you're not going anywhere. It's like being in a rocking chair. You're doing a lot of movement, but you're not moving. And busyness doesn't equal progress. What we're looking is progress, even if it's just 1 inch for 1 inch forward. Take that 1 inch. Don't just talk about it. Be about
I
it.
got
Take that action.
you. That's
Yeah.
good. Go.
Avoidance also, another pitfall people have is avoidance often is disguised as ambition. And so they would say, you hear people say, if I had the opportunity like Gerard had the opportunity, man, I would be something big. I would be something major. So, but I'm right here doing my own thing. No, you're just avoiding the hard work that Gerard put into accomplish whatever he wanted to accomplish you know and so avoidance sometimes is disguised as ambition, where people say, if I had it easier, if I was like you, if I was like you, big money, I would do it. No, you just avoiding it. You just don't want to do the work.
That's good.
Avoidance is disguised as ambition.
It's dope. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you were in the army, you get did you have to go through that drill a lot with the distance of the targets?
Oh
Did you
yeah.
ever have to do? Yeah.
Yeah, I like to use the word drill because they hammered it in on us. It's so much to qualifying with your weapon, right? You
Right.
know, um, when you're talking about the big hoop and holler, like the more glamorous things. For me, when I was sitting in that foxhole shooting down range, if I can hit that 300-meter target, I can go back and boast to everybody like, yeah, man, I hit the 300-meter. But
Yeah.
we can't overlook that 50 meters. So they're teaching you the process, like not just telling you what to do, but they're explaining it to you and breaking it down. Like, hey, you do have to hit that 300-meter target, but there's a process. And not only is there a process, I'm going to teach you. So I think we got to be able and willing to sit at the feet of other people. Some people that have already paved the way, that have done it, that know a little bit more. I know it in these days, Gregory, it's easy for everybody to just jump on and create a fancy title on a page and go viral and bring followers and read a few books, and you sound like you know what you're talking about. But you and I grew up in that era, and my audience, I'm sure y'all familiar with this. We grew up in the era where you had to learn and prove yourself worthy of speaking to others, teaching others before you just got up there. Now these days, anybody can do it, with no training, no pass fail exams or anything right there, and it shows. And it's important to the example I was talking about on this range, that we sit at the feet of those who have done it, the experts, those that can watch you, look at your form, look at how you engage people. They know if you're anxious, they know if your breathing is off, all the stuff that comes into account when you're trying to perfect your form. And again, sometimes we don't want to do it, and we think that just because we read a few books or
Yeah.
we can speak well, that we're there, and it takes more than that. So yeah.
When I was getting licensed as a minister, we had to do what's called a preaching lab. And so preaching lab is exactly that.
Teaching
You
lab.
go in lab, right? Yeah. And that what it was is that all of the people who were looking to get licensed and ordained as ministers, you had to deliver a sermon, not on Sunday morning, but in front of all your peers and in front of the pastoral staff at the church. And so what you would do is that you would have to prepare your sermon. Some of us, took weeks to prepare. Some people took less time, but you weren't able to get your license. You weren't able to get ordained until after you had delivered a sermon in front of in front of other preachers. And so what that taught me particularly is that you can't fake preparation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because the other people who have been preaching for years could tell if you ever just faking the funk or you really knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Were you up here just winging it, or did you actually have it inside of you? And so, as we talk about this prioritization here, what it is that you can't skip steps. And so, a lot of times
Mm.
people want to skip steps to success. And what happens is that if you skip a step in life, you're going to have to go right back to it because the
Yeah.
foundation is uneasy. You can't
That's it.
skip steps in life. You're going
Yeah.
to have to face the hard thing, the thing that keeps popping up over and over and over again in your relationships or in your business, because it's going to show up. Because wherever
Yeah.
you are is where you are. It's going to come up.
Yeah. I like that you said it's going to show up. And two ways that I'm just came off right top of my mind when you said that it's going to show up is you're going to lack discipline and you're going to lack consistency. Right? You're not going to be disciplined in your approach. You're going to be all over the place. And the consistency, like doing constantly on time what you need to be doing, consistently doing. And another one too is a lack of empathy. I think you learn that from people who've done it before you, who you sit at their feet and learn those kind of things. Because even though I'm doing it, what I'm doing affects other people. And if I'm out here just
Right.
doing what I want to do, that old saying, you don't want to leave behind dead bodies, right? So what am I doing and how does it affect other people too? So I think I said two, but it's three. And you may want to add to the list, but empathy, discipline, and consistency is those things that shows when you put in the work.
Yeah, it does. I can't think of anything else to add, and all of that tied together just shows passion. Because when you have empathy and consistency, you can only do that for something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
It reminds me of some relationship advice I usually give for premarital couples. And I said, only friends can keep vows. Only friends can keep vows. And so when people, before they get married, I often ask, are you friends? Because only friends can keep vows. And if you just love someone or you lust after someone, you'll just say the words. But once that feeling and those butterflies go away, then it's going to fall apart. You have to have some passion in this. You got to have some connection in this, because only friends can keep vows. And the only way you can remain consistent is that if you do have an emotional connection to it. And so you have to not only think about the goal, but why is the goal important? So, for instance, when my daughters were young, and they used to, like everybody else, used to hate doing homework. I mean, who likes to do homework? But I always remind them the goal is not the homework. The goal is to pass the class, and this is just one of the steps that you're taking to pass the class. So we
Yeah.
can't skip homework to get to the big goal. To get to the big goal requires these little steps. It's going to require you doing a spelling test, it's going to require you writing the essay, it's going to require you doing homework
Yeah.
before the big goal is down the road. But the 50 feet goal today is just doing these math problems and turning it in tomorrow.
Yeah. That's dope. Hey, let's go to a quick commercial break and come back and we'll continue the discussion.
Sure.
Real men talk. If I had a group of brothers that I could confide in, a group of brothers that encourage me to be the best man possible, that hold me accountable for actions, but brothers that won't beat me down when I fall short. If I had brothers like that in my life, I'd open up more about my challenges. I wouldn't be afraid of being vulnerable and transparent. I'd be more deliberate in my actions and not scared of failure. I wouldn't act like everything is okay when I'm hurting inside. Sometimes it seems like there's an all-out assault from the world on black men, and hurtful words from my lady cut deep. I can't show my pain, 'cause if she knew that she hurt me, she would do it over and over again, hoping that each time cut deeper than the last. I do understand that women have challenges too. That's why I work so hard to be the strength she needs. But I need a band of brothers who understand But sometimes I simply want them to listen. Sometimes I need advice, but other times I need a shoulder to lean on. I need a band of brothers that create a safe space that gives us all a chance to talk about our fears. Because it's therapeutic when real men talk. Real men talk. Real men talk.
Man,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah. And you know, that was one of our focuses. We were talking about our priorities is doing more with real men talk, and not just here on the screen. We're talking about getting out in the community, putting events together so that we can be face to face too. So I've been working on some partnerships with some other community leaders. So be on the lookout for more to come on Real Men Talk.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Um, to piggyback on Real Men Talk, if we're looking to prioritize what we're talking about tonight, as you were saying earlier, we do need a tribe around us. We do need people that will hold us accountable. And so, one of the action items for people who are looking to make this your account and looking to prioritize is find those trusted individuals, like Gerard said earlier, that you give permission to call you out, that are you give permission to check in on you, and that whatever question they ask, you have to answer honestly.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the most important things out there. We're talking about real men talk. When I coach men, you'll be surprised how many men I coach that don't have more than one friend. Literally, one brother. If that one brother is out of town or sick, they don't have nobody else to call. And so, and it's unfortunate there's some men who don't even have that one. They just have their coworkers who they aren't very close with. And so, men have usually have troubles with opening up. And so, we need to find people around us that will hold us accountable because accountability is a key to success. It
Yeah.
really is.
Like
Yeah.
they say, find that tribe.
Yeah, you got to. Second actionable item for people is write down your top three concerns. You look over your life right now. What are your top three concerns? Write them down on a piece of paper. And it sounds antiquated, but it is very, very possible. I mean, powerful. It's something about writing down with your hand and it connecting with your brain that makes it sink in just deeper to you. It resonates with you. When you write it down, read it out loud to yourself every day. That'll be a
Yeah.
constant reminder of your focuses.
Hey, I have a
Circle.
question for you on that right there. When you're doing your coaching sessions, counseling,
Mhm.
and you get with guys, like what are some of the more common three that you would say, like, hey, you need to work on this?
Yeah.
I got these that you're doing this, but you really need some more focus in this area. What are some of those areas that you give that direction on?
Yeah, the top three things that you see in most men is number one is loneliness. There are so many lonely men out there who don't have real connections. We know a lot of people, we have a lot of homies, but we don't have any real connections. So loneliness is really a big, huge issue for men. And so when men get married, generally, um, their wives become their best friend, and that is a great thing. That's how it should be, but but their wives become sort of like their life preserver. If I didn't have her, I wouldn't have anywhere else to go. I don't have anybody else to lean on, and that part is unhealthy because one person can't be your everything. So one big thing for men to work on, they need to focus on, is opening up, improving your social skills, networking more, getting out there, developing the tools to introduce yourself and relaying to other people what you're bringing to the table. Boast about yourself a little bit, have the confidence. So that's really one area. Tied very closely to that is men have low self-esteem. I think one of the biggest areas that the devil tries to attack men is this performative ish, this performative mindset that we have. We have to perform in order to be liked. We have to perform in order to bring value. So performance looks like a nice job, a nice car, muscles, fancy clothing. That I'm not valuable just because of my heart, my soul, my intellect, my sense of humor, my care. It is just that men deal with a lot of external validation. And so, one of the areas I think men can improve on is understanding who they are without all of the accolades, without all of the trophies. What value do you bring when it's just you and your favorite people across the table, what insight, what joy, what compassion, what leadership can you bring? Because that's where your real strength is.
So before you move on from there, what could some of those things potentially look like? Some of the things I'm thinking off top is trustworthiness, like
Hmm.
dependability, forbearance, fidelity. Like I know those are some intangibles. Again, we look on the
Hmm.
exterior, but what are some of those non-tangible, untangible things that men should also focus on being?
Yeah. They need to focus on being honest with themselves. A lot of
I like,
men, and I don't mean being dishonest in a way to manipulate, but the old saying, "I'm good, I'm all right, I got it," and being honest, saying, "No, I'm hurting, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm about to break, I'm about to crumble. This is a lot of weight that I'm carrying," and being honest with themselves about what their limitations are. Men don't want to admit that. So honesty is
so
is
how
is a
much
big thing.
does self-awareness play a role into that, being honest?
Yeah, it plays a lot, and aren't men tend to gravitate toward the image they want to be more than the image they actually are. Which is really it goes back to that performance. If I'm not the quarterback, then I'm not important. If I'm not the highest scorer, then I'm not important. It tends to be men tend to live in two dimensions. Either I'm in first place or I'm in last place. They don't really see it in between. I'm either number one or I'm dead last, which is not the truth at all.
Yeah,
It's not even a competition. It's just that everybody has a different journey. Everybody's just bring. It's like it's not a competition. It's like you're just a different color in the coloring box.
yeah.
Green is not competing with purple. Purple's not competing with orange. It's not a competition. We just all bring our unique color to whatever room that we're in. And so self-awareness is troubling for men because they would rather see themselves as who they wish they could be than who they actually are. They
Wow.
are very afraid to actually look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I am a little bit overweight, or I am thinning in the head, or I'm not the youngest guy in the office anymore, or I'm not as quick with the technology as everybody else is. That doesn't make you less than, because you bring wisdom now, you bring leadership now, and those are very valuable tools.
Yeah, I think that's a big hurdle for some men is leadership, and that's tied closest to competence, right? And
Yeah.
the thing about leadership, man, a lot of it is your confidence or willingness to jump out there and lead. But
Hmm.
sometimes leadership is letting someone else take charge of a specific situation. I think leadership is also the ability to hand the reins over to somebody else that may be better than, or just may have the capacity to take that on because you're doing some other things. I think that builds your trustworthiness because you're not a gatekeeper trying to, box other people out. You're not territorial, but also you're self-aware. Like, you know what? Not sometimes not that I can't, I just don't have the capacity. And
Hmm.
hey, also, and even if I got the capacity, how right, I'm gonna use that word, right is it to allow someone else to grow in something, even though I know how to do it. Hey, Gregory, why don't you do this one this time? Because, give you
Yeah.
opportunity to grow and develop.
Absolutely. And also I think men have confused the difference between leadership and management. Management is just making sure the job gets done, right?
Mhm.
Leadership is inspiring the people around you to accomplish a goal.
I like that.
Leadership, right? Anybody can be a manager. Anybody can make sure, like, did we get the shipment in? Did we sign all the paperwork? Did we send the emails? That's management. Leadership is inspiring people to be the best version of themselves so that they can do a great job. That's the difference. It's not management. Men tend to think management is leadership when it's not.
It's
It's
not
those are
necessary.
two those are two different things, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes there are crossovers in that, but yeah, for the most part, that's two different things.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so we want to write down our three biggest concerns. We want to circle the ones that feel the most uncomfortable. And I challenge people to write down the circle the ones that feel most uncomfortable because those are the ones you need to handle first. Always do the hard stuff first. So at the beginning of this year, while you got that momentum, you got that excitement, new year, new you, I'm just going to be my best year ever. Let's knock out the hard stuff first. What are the things that make you feel uncomfortable? Is it calling that relative that you haven't spoken to in 15 years? Is it making amends with someone that really just got on your nerves last year? Is whatever that uncomfortable thing is, having that tough conversation with your spouse, having that tough conversation with your kids, just do the hard things first. Yeah, got to. And then take one small step toward it within 24 hours. So if you write it down today, this time tomorrow, you should have taken one small step. Maybe you haven't had the conversation, but you at least wrote down a few points that you want to say to this person to mend that relationship. Maybe you haven't yet went and created the perfect meal plan, but at least you found a few recipes. Take small steps every day. You won't win the battle tonight. You just need to engage in the right steps toward winning the battle.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. And I was just going to add on that, Gregory. When we're identifying our three things, um, being conscious of, again, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
If we're in a relationship or have jobs or other people that we're responsible for, we can't become negligent in our other duties, other responsibilities as well. So,
Yeah.
not saying that you have to not take on any more goals, but if you have some other responsibilities, it's incumbent that we maintain and make sure that we're doing our due diligence and performing in those areas as well. What's your thoughts on that?
We're talking about relationships. One of the things I think every couple should do every year is ask their partner, "Who are you today?" Go to your woman, go to your man, and say, "Yo, boo, I know every year we evolve, we change. You weren't the same woman I knew when we started dating 3 years ago. Who are you today? How should I love you differently? What does love look like, sound like, and feel like to you in 2026? Because I know it looks different than it did in 2024. So I don't want to be doing the same stuff. What has
Yeah,
changed? You know, you gotta and then also share your thoughts too, because men are good about asking their women what do they want, but they're not so good about saying what do I want, because we're not trained to think that that's okay for us to say what we want. But we do listen to our woman, and
yeah,
so when it comes to relationships, ask them, how are you different today than you were last year, so
yeah.
I'll know how to love you better.
And it's crazy how that's become a weakness to concern yourself about yourself as well.
Hmm.
Again, you're not being negligent and avoiding other duties, but if you're not right, what can you do for somebody else? And it's crazy. I see these little memes on Facebook where they're calling a man sassy because he beginning to take care of himself. So just be mindful about that. I got my homeboy, childhood friend, classmate, Anton Smith tuning in. Appreciate you, man, for tuning in, and I appreciate the comment as well.
Listen, if a woman calls you sassy just for taking care of yourself, that should not be your woman. That ain't the right chick for you, man. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm telling you, because a real woman's gonna want a man that cares about his nails, his skincare routine, his cologne, keeping his
I
body
want to talk.
moisturized. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna want that. I mean, I don't. A woman who doesn't want an involved man deserves what she gets.
Yeah.
And I
She was
said what I said,
the Fred Flintstone type dude.
right? Yeah, because we evolved now. We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't just use bar soap in our bare hands anymore. We got loofahs.
You got that body, you got that body
Right.
in your
We
shower,
got
man.
that body wash. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eucalyptus.
yeah, we doing it
Eucalyptus body
all.
wash. Yeah.
We doing it all. And so, um, as we prioritize our money, our finances, our relationships, are have has to be at the top of the list. And of course, number one, you can't do it all without God. Every year is an opportunity for us to renew our relationship with Christ, and that's why so many churches across the country, they usually start the year off with a fast. What it is, denying your flesh so that you can strengthen your relationship with God. Hopefully, that'll carry over throughout the entire year, but it is ideal. I think it is paramount. I think it's super important to start the year off with, "Hey, God, let me check in with you. Let me make sure that we are where we need to be so that I can be effective in every area of my life." Because when you're right with God, everything else just flows from that.
Yeah.
And so, if
It's good.
anybody is, and if anybody's going to be on your accountability team, It has to be God.
Yeah, man. Hey, D'Angelo said cologne to smell good, and even if it's that Old Spice, as long as you smell good, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I love it that men aren't ashamed anymore about saying I'm getting a pedicure or a manicure, taking care of their bodies. Hey, you do what you got to do. We want to look good too.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's your entire self. All those things matter when you just let someone tend to you. Sometimes I think that's okay.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It is. It is because we get burnt out. We're very finite creatures, and we tend to think we're Superman, but Superman has kryptonite too. So some
yeah.
days you're gonna have to sit down and recharge.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Man, this was good, man. Again, we're talking about what deserves your attention. And the analogy that we use was for those that are in the military or familiar with military going to the range to qualify, that 50-meter target, the one that's most close. We don't neglect the
Hmm.
100-meter, 250, and the 300-meter, but we do need to prioritize to know, like, hey, what's most important, make sure we're addressing that while we're still taking care of the other things too. So, Gregory, man, 2026 is here. Every year, a lot of people have, New Year's resolutions. Some people critique them and belittle them about it. But I say this:
Hmm.
if it takes a new year to give you some new motivation to do some new things, take advantage of it. So, I'm gonna let you close us out. Give us some words of encouragement, some things to go back and consider if we're having to hit the reset button, do some things differently, just to make sure that we're better than we were
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. I think that what we all got to have targets because if you don't have a target, then you can't score. What are you aiming at? You don't want to be an arrow without a target, just flying around aimlessly. You want to have something that you are moving toward, that you can plan for, and that every day you're motivated to get up and go conquer. Everybody needs a goal that inspires them to get out of bed every day and say, "This is what I do, and I plan on doing it well." But along that journey of doing that thing well, you're going to have to do some work, and it's going to require you to do some soul work. And here's the deal: soul work is slow work. If you're going to improve your life, it's an inside job. It starts from the inside and it shows on the outside. Change is first internal before it's external. But don't get discouraged because soul work is slow work. It's going to take time. But even if you're just moving an inch, a centimeter every single day, aim it at that target that you have, you're making progress. You will eventually get there if you don't stop. Progress is not always loud, but progress must be honest. So be honest with yourself, set your goals for your life and make those adjustments that every single day you take at least one step forward into becoming that person that you dream of becoming.
That's good. That's good. And get good people, trustworthy people in your corner, because you can't do it by yourself. You wasn't meant to do it
Again,
by yourself. Yeah,
nope.
get your good, strong team. Hey, a lot of people don't know this about you, but
Hmm.
you're a life coach, but you're also an author, right? So,
Yeah, I am. Yep.
let's tell people about the book that you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So my book, Emotional Intelligence for Men, it is a book that helps men and the women that love them understand why men behave the way they do, sort of why men react to certain triggers, why they get angry or frustrated and sad. And so when you see your man or you as a man are feeling these roller coaster of emotions, what this book helps you do is identify this is why I feel the way that I do. This is why I do things the way that I do. Maybe it's unresolved issues from my childhood. Maybe it's my daddy issues. Maybe it's just me being uncomfortable accepting my own limitations. Within this book, you're going to figure out why you behave the way that you do, and then you get some tools and some techniques on how to overcome those negative habits that you have. But most of all, what it helps you do is understand your emotions so you can communicate your emotions better to the people that are around you so you can be an effective leader, husband, and father. So if you're a man or you know a man, you want to pick it up. You want to grab it because I guarantee you it's one of the best books you'll ever read. It is of tremendous value. So go on Amazon.com, type in Gregory McKinney, life coach, and then you'll find it right there. Grab one for yourself and for another brother. You'll be
oh,
grateful
so,
for it.
yeah,
Or sister. That's right.
Yeah, and Coley, she's giving you some kudos on that right there. And Coley, she's an artist too. We've been trying to get her on. I know we've been missing each other, but Coley, reach out. Let's get you on and talk about your book as well. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of great work, and one of the things that we do is want to make sure that we give some just time and attention to people in our community that are doing these things too. So you want to take a moment to talk about that before we get off here?
Giving other people props.
Yeah, a chance to come on the show and tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Everybody that is doing a great work, let us know. Reach out to us in the comments, DM us. Let us know what you got going on in your life. We'd like to have these conversations. You know, there are so many people out there in the community that are doing great work that we don't get the opportunity to meet, to see in action. And so let us know. DM myself or DM Gerard or DM the Floor is Yours podcast. Put yourself in the comments. Tell us a little bit about yourself if we and because we want to have those conversations going. Unfortunately, you know, Gerard and I can't be at all places at one time. And so we do want to celebrate the people that are really making an impact. So reach out to us, tell us your story, and we'll love to have a conversation with you.
Big or small. Big or small. Yeah. So we're gonna go through some of these conversations. We were talking about the good old Spice. D'Angelo said, "Don't come around with that Old Spice," so she's gonna crack jokes.
High karate.
Hey, Cole saying hello, and my boy Anton, man, I wish I could see him. I haven't seen him, man, since we graduated. I would love to see him in person. I appreciate you tuning in, Big Tone. Coley was stating what you said earlier. Soul work is the quiet place where God refines you. Man, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a line. We need to put some music to that line right there, man. What you think?
Bars right there. Bars. Yeah.
She spit. So, hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we want to make sure that we allow everybody to be heard. I think that's most important. Sometimes it ain't about finding an answer as much as it is about just talking it out and being heard. So that's what the Floor is Yours is about. But Gregory, Happy New Year to you. That's another question that came up. People say, how long do we say Happy New Year, or when is it time to stop saying Happy New Year? You know,
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
that's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
So what you going to close us out, man?
Man, hey, you know what? I'm glad to be back for 2026. God is not done with us. We still got a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of conversations to be had, and we are delighted to do so. So everybody, please, week after week, tune into the Floor is Yours podcast. Let everybody know that the show is on, because it is popping. We appreciate you. We love you for tuning in. And whatever it is you want to discuss, let us know. We'd love to talk about it. We appreciate each and every one of you. We Happy New Year to everyone. We're wishing you nothing but God's best this year. In the meantime, until we see each other again, peace, love, hair grease. We out.
And just to read Coley Brown last comment, she said, "Yes, I would love for you both to teach a young adult financial literacy class this summer for me. I truly believe it will be impactful and timely. I definitely will be reaching out soon to connect and discuss." And we're always looking for opportunities to serve, especially in my hometown of Texarkana. So reach out, you know, and if it's areas that we aren't necessarily experts in, we know the people. So we'll make sure we make that happen for you. So, yeah. So you can close out one more time.
Man, Happy New Year to everybody. We look forward to celebrating this year with you. Everybody, God bless. Take care of each other. Peace, love, hair grease. See you next time.
Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.